Order. It's the January 28th Board of Trustees regular board meeting. And I'm going to have Marwan read the mission statement.
Inspiring curiosity and connection.
Oh, sorry, was it Marwan or Eric who was supposed to read it? Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Jason. Wait, I'm sorry, I have the wrong on my laptop, I have December 17th, 2024 pulled up, so I guess I'll just, okay. Anyway, we'll go ahead and do welcome introductions for Jason, please.
Yes, hi, and welcome to the January Board of Trustees meetings. And we've got Executive Assistant Tammy Jeffries. We've got Deputy Director, Chief Financial and Operating Officer Dan Baer. We've got the Executive Director of the Kitsap Regional Library Foundation, Wendy Kyle. We have Deputy Director of Public Services, Shannon Peterson, Director of Human Resources and DEI, Lucretia Robertson, and last but not least, we have the Director of Information Technology and Facilities Maintenance, Mike Rose. Excused is the Director of Marketing and Communications, Jeannie Allen. And we have a couple special guests with us today who will be sharing a mission moment, and I will let Shannon appropriately introduce them when the time arises. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Jason. Okay, at this time, do we have any additions or changes to the agenda? Any board members? Okay. Do we have any public comment tonight? We have none. Great, thank you. Okay, I'm going to move on to the consent agenda. All matters listed within the consent agenda are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion of the Board of Trustees with no separate discussion. If separate discussion is desired, items may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda by request. Eric or Marwan, do you have any items for discussion? No, okay. Then at this time, I'll consider a motion for minutes of December 17th, regular board meeting, payment of December 2024, payroll and benefits, and surplus library materials withdrawn from the collection for December 2024. Do I have a motion?
I so move.
A second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Yep. Okay, motion carries. All right, at this time, we're on to presentations, reports, and briefings. And we have mission moment with, I'm sorry, I can't, okay.
Shannon, can you do a quick introduction of your guests?
Absolutely. I'm so excited to have our Silverdale Youth Services librarian, Aaliyah, join us this evening. Aaliyah joined our organization in 2018. Thank you. Just confirming with my eyes there. And I was so excited when Aaliyah started that she dreamed up this program and brought it to us. It really was the first of its kind in our system. She'll be talking today about a program called Baby Band, and I don't want to steal her words because I know they'll be great. But what I love about this program is it inspires creativity and learning in a very low barrier way for families. And it's just been a joy to watch it evolve in our system over the years. And this program has been so successful that it is now spread to other locations throughout the county. So really grateful that Aaliyah is joining us this evening. Also happy to welcome Anna Caprile-Comas, our Silverdale branch manager in support of Baby Band. So thank you, welcome.
Thank you, Shannon. And hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here to talk about Baby Band, which is language and literacy development through active musical play. My name is Aaliyah Jurdeka. I am the Youth Services Librarian from Silverdale. We covered that. But I wanted to talk about first my motive for creating Baby Band. I wanted to offer an alternative to baby story time that reduced language barriers and accommodated children who might not do well in traditional storytime settings. When I was working in East Los Angeles, I noticed hesitancy of many caregivers to participate in baby story time or even attend. Though when they engaged with the instruments, or if I saw them engaging with toys, the connections and shared joy I saw were exactly what I would hope for. in a program like this. My background is in child development, and music has always been a part of my life. Wouldn't necessarily call myself a musician in front of some people, but I knew that like a program like this could absolutely work. Growing up, the neurodivergence point is libraries weren't always a place where kids like me could go. Too many questions, too loud, too hyper, too much. But a library early literacy programs centered around moving, singing, and making joyful noise. I hoped maybe libraries could be a place for neurodivergent kids as well. I believe that music and movement programs increase accessibility and support equitable access to early learning experiences in the library, and that's pretty much my passion. Here is a video of an interaction with a parent and child. After we do the songs and rhymes, you'll see at most story times, they have an opportunity to explore, to make their own noise, explore instruments, and explore their own world at their own pace, and also join along and jump in when they are ready. So the other why we do what we do here at Baby Band, the child development behind it all. There are so many developmental benefits to music. Music lights up so many centers of the brain, and it helps strengthen the corpus callosum, which are the little synapses that fly back and forth between the two hemispheres of the brain. That actually helps with balance, proprioception, and coordination. As you can see with the little baby in the video, gross motor with your big muscles and fine motor skills with grasping is what they're practicing constantly, and that leads to their ability to hold pencils and crayons when they are working on their literacy skills. The creativity, expression, those are things that you naturally think of when you think of music, but also understanding that when little children and babies are exposed to music, that helps them build empathy by listening to others express themselves. And then when they have the opportunity to express themselves as well, that helps in a group setting understand how we can share emotions, also not necessarily needing words to do so. Starting and stopping, especially with the group, helps develop self-regulation skills, and that prepares them for working with others in group and class settings. Learning how to regulate oneself with music through matching tempos can aid in transitions between daily activities, and also helps with that regulation for the neurodivergent children who might be moving a little faster or need that motivation to move when you need them to. Also kind of back into the social setting, cooperation, taking turns when you do call and response, that helps prepare them for conversations, taking time to listen and then know when to jump in and share themselves. And music transmits culture, it transcends language, and it is a wonderful way to incorporate cultural awareness, but also help people feel seen or understood in a program and make them feel welcomed, hopefully. The other wonderful thing about these programs is it encourages bonding between child and their caregivers. As you can see in the video, when the adult followed the children's interest, helped them, wanted to see what they're interested in, that actually helps the children understand that their feelings, their thoughts are valid, and they can feel confident in various learning environments, that they can take that, and then it becomes preschool readiness as they're more confident in working with groups. Plus, adults receive the same cognitive benefits from music, so it's a fun way to learn and grow together. Speaking of cognitive, it is whole brain activation, as mentioned. You don't really think of music and your literacy necessarily, but understanding the beat of music helps in understanding fractions and division, as well as recognizing patterns. So it's STEM and language. The melody and rhythm aid in memory development, also more pattern recognition and spatial intelligence. I'll go into more on the next slide because there's just so much, I'm trying to pare it down. But language and music, they also share the same processing systems. And so it is actually a more natural fit than we would have maybe considered before. The patterns and rhythms within music help recognition of the patterns and rhythms within speech and language. And what I love about this is it's not one language. You can listen to music from various cultures and understand the different rhythms, and it doesn't matter what book they go to pick up and what book they are reading their language in. Their brains are primed for language and literacy, regardless of what kind of music that they have been practicing with. Playing with the sounds of letters and words when we're singing, that's phonemic awareness, another preschool readiness skill. Hearing words repeated and rhymed when we're singing, that helps with language acquisition. That's how we work with memory skills. I think we've all used songs to remember something at some point in our life. Also, regular musical practice improves our expressive abilities, which benefit communication skills. Not only with the taking turns and communicating, but the goal is to foster that language acquisition through activities that are engaging their multiple senses. We also include examples of alternatives for caregivers to simplify the activities, to guide babies, or help them model how to extend activities for toddlers who are ready for more challenges. And these pictures are adorable examples of how the children can come together and they don't need to speak. They are jamming together on a cajon drum. We're enjoying time with their parents or just being a part of a group without having to sit still and be quiet for too long. Music and movement programs in libraries, I believe, are vital in libraries. And I believe we're supporting the library's vision to build a collaborative community inspired by curiosity and that connection that we find. So all people have the opportunity to grow, belong, and thrive. The low stakes environment that we mentioned, patrons can easily join in without requiring that verbal communication or English proficiency. It also, with the music, provides an opportunity for parents to try something new with their child without the need to buy instruments. There is no monetary investment. There's no obligation to show up every week and commit to something that their kid might be tired of after two visits. It's a nice way for people to explore more, accommodate various learning styles. The music and movement, we've talked about how if you need to move a lot, if you need to move a little, they participate at their own speed. And exploring the horizons, exploring the connections between different cultures. Like I said, music transmits culture and exposes us to those musical meters, the rhymes, the beats that might be different, or show us just how much we really do have in common. And I believe that these programs offer an opportunity for us to empower the caregivers as teachers, demonstrating how easy it is to incorporate these meaningful musical activities into daily life. It's one way we can hopefully inspire lifelong learners, or at least support those caregivers. And I want to assure them that their best is good enough, and their efforts to connect and care for their child are invaluable support, and that's what makes a true difference in their child's development. So thank you so much for letting me talk about Baby Band, the hows and the whys, and I think if you were able to see the visuals, I think you can understand the impact and the fun joy, the shared joy we have each week with Baby Band. So thank you so much.
Can we ask questions? Thank you. I especially love the pictures, and all of that makes sense, right? What age range does it? Do you encourage or invite to participate?
Right, Baby Band is geared towards like babies and toddlers, so 0 to 3.
Okay.
Is where we're at. We have other program models for mini maestros for those who are ready to go into a little bit more musical instruction, or Toddler Tunes at Kingston is a nice little in-between that we have as well that is more loose music and movement activities.
Awesome, thank you. Did any of the board members?
You spoke about the connection between music and literacy. I think in one of the slides there was a note to a TED Talk that was in the bottom.
Yeah, that's where I got the picture from and some of those.
Is there any studies that show the benefits of engaging in these literacy and music benefits and how they translate to elementary school and junior high?
Yeah, there are some studies right now. University of Washington at their iLabs, the Institute of Learning and Brain Science, they have a MEG machine, a magnetoencephalographic. They have a magnetic imaging machine, and they're studying the exposure of music to the brain in babies, toddlers, and they're turning it into a longitudinal study to actually get the data of what's going on in their brains. But there are many, many studies that are showing the connection between pre-reading skills in toddlers and it being directly correlated to how much active musical play that they were exposed to.
Well, this seems like a great opportunity considering our literacy challenges throughout the nation. So that's fantastic. I would also say if Eric were here, he would ask, what do you need? What kind of help and support do you need?
I don't know. More time? Another staff member so that I could just go do this at all of the branches all of the time? No, we made baby band early learning kits during in 2020, so that way everyone could do baby band at home or at their own pace. So I think just the importance of helping us keep funding for those kits to help people have music experiences at home, and our ability to do the programs at all of our libraries, maybe.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Shannon.
So this was your idea, was it, to start this?
Yes.
Wow, yeah, I heard really good things about it. At my branch, it's just for the last couple of years, it seems like it's just that's the one program that I hear a lot about. So congratulations, it's really a success, I think.
Thank you.
Anytime you hear a big party happening at the library, it's probably baby band. One thing that Aaliyah kind of gently touched on, but I'd just underscore is what I've loved so much about this program. There's so much to love about this program, but her ability to really empower parents to take ownership of their role as an educator and teacher, and to show like really simple ways that you can carry this on all week. Like you don't have to come to see Aaliyah to make all this magically happen, although she's wonderful, of course, and has built good community. But, I've seen simple things like, oh, here's rice in a water bottle and things like this, just to kind of use what you have at home to keep it moving. Mm-hmm. And I love that part of the program too, that just helping families kind of make this accessible and easy and fun.
Yeah, and tagging on to that. When we're doing the music exploration, I make sure to use popular music that parents might want to actually listen to in their car on repeat. And so that gives them an opportunity to see how to incorporate the basics that we do with the kid songs and find those moments within popular music that they can enjoy with their kids. And so kind of extending it, like when you're at home, if you've got cleaning music, if you have cooking music, this is how you can bring your child in and keep them occupied and engaged in a safe manner. Maybe. Cooking.
Can I add to? Oh, no, thank you. I think one of the things that I really like right now, too, is that there is interest across the state to have Aaliyah come out to other library districts and teach them about baby band and expand the program. We've been talking about having her go to WLA and present there. And then make it a statewide program that she's created here at KRO. So
I've already
really proud of that.
Yakima Valley Libraries and the Timberland Regional Library has already reached out, and I've shared the program design with them as well.
I just want to really commend you again for bringing this program to Kitsap, and I've seen you in action, and it's evident to me that you enjoy what you're doing. And then you've spread that love. As I understand it, I think you've spread this, and you've contaminated the system with it. Some of your colleagues are also repeating this program, so I really wanted to lift you up for that, and also to both Shannon and Anna for giving you the ability to do it. And I know that seems simple, but I really like when staff have ideas and they're given a runway and a lane with which to implement those. And you tried something that was brand new, and it's been a smashing success. And obviously, you've presented the research behind why you're doing it, and the why is what makes sense, and the fact that you're sneaking the peas into the, into the meat in a way that folks don't really understand what's going on, but they're having fun. And I'm sure they understand from your tips, but I really just wanted to commend you for bringing this program to Kitsap and just sharing your professional talents with us. And we're happy to have you here. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lucretia?
What one song is stuck in your head after all your baby bands?
I usually try to change it up so that way it doesn't happen. But yeah, right now I'm using Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes as done by Snoop Dogg. And so I just have a funky little beat as I head, shoulders, knees, and toes on my way out the door. But that's just right now. I will make everyone do it with me.
I'm going to have to look that up. I introduced my 6-year-old granddaughter to Snoop Dogg, and so anyway, thank you.
On YouTube, he has Doggy Land. It's all animated and cute family friendly.
Well, thanks for that tip.
You're welcome. Resources.
Thank you so much. And like Jason said, congratulations on the success of your program. All right. And next, we're going to have our presentations and reports from board members. So I'll start at the end. Eric, do you have anything?
I don't have anything to report this month. It seems like I've been busy, but nothing to report here.
Okay. Marwan?
I don't really have a report, just excited that it's the 80th year of the library. So I'll be talking about that all over town for the year.
Yes. I'm sure Jason's going to cover it in his report too. So thank you. I don't have anything to report either. It's winter. I feel like we're all hunkered down and, staying tucked in. So thank you guys. And Eric, do you want to give us an update from the Finance Committee?
Well, it's real quick. We ended the year in the black, and so we're in good shape. We're hoping to do that again next year. That's about it. We'll see what happens.
Thank you, Eric. And then with that, we'll go ahead and turn it over to Dan if he wants to elaborate any and go over the financial report for us.
Well, thank you, Gina. Actually, I would like to give just a few notes, and I didn't expect Eric to remember all these things because I rattled them off pretty quickly. But the library system reports their financials on a cash basis, so I thought I'd give you a cash basis highlight of 2024. We ended the year with savings in our operation plan of about $500,000. That was offset by about $150,000 in shortfall of revenues collected, mostly in property taxes. So that netted us about $350,000 saved. The capital expenditure budget is not funded by operation plan revenue. So we were able to fund all of our capital expenditures from 2024 of about $279,000 out of that savings. So we did not have to dip into our reserves for our capital programs for that. So that's good news. We ended the year with about $3.5 million in general operations investments that will tide us over until we get the large distribution of property taxes in April. We ended with about a net of about $1.5 million in capital investments going forward into this year, and we ended our financial revenue reserves at also $1.5 million. So we ended the year with a pretty healthy balance in our reserves. And as Eric said, I hope this year will be just as successful with that.
It's all good news to all of us, so thank you for that, Dan. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. And with that, we will move on to Jason's report.
Yes, again, good evening and Happy New Year, trustees. As we begin the year, I just want to share some highlights from 2024. First, I want to express gratitude to you all for your continued support and guidance. It's been a busy year in 2024, lots of good collaboration, progress, and discovery too. And I think a renewed commitment to our community from this team and for the organization and for us to impact our community and to continue to help it grow and make it better. And so I really felt like in 2024, it was the first year, I think, since the pandemic that it felt like to me, although I wasn't here previous to that, I had heard, and I think the vestiges of COVID were still amongst us when I started in 2022. I felt like last year felt like the first year we were really fully back in terms of activities, vibrancy in terms of programs and activities in our branches. And I think certainly a lot of our statistics bear that out, particularly when it comes to door counts. But having said that, we'll dig into a little bit of that later. As you know, we are down a board member with Stephanie departing from the board in the end of December. We do have a new board member that will be coming to the Board of Trustees pending confirmation from the Kitsap County Commissioners. I'm not at liberty to divulge that information until they actually do the approvals, but I just wanted to say that, and we wish Stephanie well in the next chapter of her volunteer life. And so we're reflecting a bit on our December topic, Thrive Ahead topic. It was all about building our collective impact, and that's where I'd like to start tonight, especially around cultivating and fostering partnerships, which is something that I think our organization does particularly well. And all of our departments are really aligned and branches with having partners. And you know, a lot of that is led by our Deputy Director of Public Services, Shannon Peterson. So just thanking her right out of the gates for the establishment of critical partnerships that I think help extend our mission and strengthen our mission in the community. And so, you know, the collective impact piece is really big for us, and that's something that we will continue to focus on. And so we continue to be a hub for our community, linking people to resources, obviously, ideas, and each other. And that's the most important thing, is that in a time where, you know, people have diminished capacity to be able to connect physically just because of lots of reasons, to be able to hold community inside our spaces is important. And so we had a couple different partnerships in 2024 I want to highlight. One that really we added on for the summer, and that was the partnership that was developed with the Seattle Storm to really give summer learning participants who recorded at least 10 hours of reading the opportunity to get vouchers for Seattle Storm tickets, which was huge, I think, because, you know, for families who don't have, particularly who don't have resources, to be able to get resources, not only to get to a game, but transportation resources, I think that's huge. You know, part of having a summer learning program is not just being able to provide, obviously, the reading goals for people and the requisite resources and prizes, but, you know, our response to moving summer reading to summer learning as an institution, library-wise, because we pretty much are doing this nationwide now, provides opportunities culturally for kids to experience things outside of, you know, their realm. And so in terms of, you know, being able to get on a ferry and talk about, you know, talk about the water, talk about the boat, talk about, you know, marine animals. These are all important aspects of things that come out of initiatives like getting Storm tickets. You don't think about, hey, we're just going to go to a game, and all these other things are tangible benefits, I think, to having opportunities like this. So really want to thank all of our folks who partner together to make this happen. Another partnership that really kicked up last year, and it was a result of a community forum Shannon and I attended. We partnered with Julius Doc Blackwell, who's otherwise known as Doc Love the Kids, to provide disadvantaged youth and their families with opportunities to be able to, he had heard about the summer learning program and knew that it was an impactful program for us, so I connected him with Shannon to be able to really get more information about summer learning, how the programs happen, where they happen, so he could try to get community members together to start coming to some of those events. And so really the partnership was around giving Doc enough information, because he already has community, to be able to connect them with the library. And so, you know, I think that was hugely successful. In this winter, that sort of partnership has kicked into a new level, and around Mr. Blackwell partnering again with Public Services to do a program called Bringing Kitsap Together. And Doc's aim in this program is to really get together different communities at the library to be able to have a space to be able to talk about and host community for themselves. And again, library is the partner in terms of providing the space and the opportunity, and then Doc brings the various communities together, and they'll all be aligned around specific communities and not wanting to isolate those communities from others. And so the whole idea is he will focus and target different communities each month, but the idea is that all the communities are welcome to come together and to talk about things that are important to him. And this was really all had its underpinnings in this seminar. Shannon and myself and actually Tammy attended as well at the fairgrounds. It was called Strengthening Our Connections, Addressing the Epidemic of Loneliness and Isolation. And so out of that, there were lots of little table talks that were happening. I think Lucretia may have been at that particular seminar as well. But I think what came out of that is a really a commitment by a lot of community partners to sort of extend the conversation after that and to be able to talk about like, hey, we've gotten all the data on what's that like, and we've gotten data on other organizations and what their plans are. So let's actually take the talk and make it into let's walk the walk and do a program. So I'm really excited that this is an arena that we're getting into in terms of being able to explore partnerships with people that we hadn't yet done that with. And so, looking ahead, we will deepen those collaborations that we have with Doc, and I'm sure we'll maintain our critical partnerships, existing partnerships that we have, and align with the new ones to broaden and really amplify our impact. And that's what we're really about. And everything in 24 was really aligned around making sure we had alignment around our strategic plan in terms of our business, our programs, our people, our resources, and making sure that we're really supporting the strategic plan in that regard so we can, be able to be a viable institution for years to come. And so wanted to highlight a couple of key accomplishments in 24, and there were many, so we'd be here all day to go through them. And this is all a result of this leadership team. We're able to, around the areas of community engagement, we've redesigned our One Book program, and we've yet to launch that, but it's set for launch this year. We introduced a new teen volunteer program, thanks to, again, the Deputy Director of Public Services, as well as extending meeting access in Paulsboro for expanded access. Several departments, including facilities and public services, namely, were involved in that in our Paulsboro team. So I'm really appreciative that that's a service point now that we'll hopefully expand once we do some more evaluation on the applicability of extending that to other facilities. Staff development and safety is always a big part. I think without having staff feel like they're taken care of in terms of wellness and being safe, we wouldn't, have a staff that's out doing great programs like ALEA, right? That's always the first. It's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Safety and security is always first. So I'm really proud of our foundation team for realizing our goals for staff support and really being able to step up to the plate and help support that. And so we launched a second staff day in 2024. Our goal was to both have our regular all-staff day that we do. Usually we host with one of our community partners at a facility. And then the second was to have a more team-centric staff day where staff have the ability to dive in as teams and to figure out how they can support the strategic plan, how they can support each other and foster their team goals. And I think that was highly successful. And with operations, we were able to restore pre-pandemic service hours across all large locations, particularly with having Sunday hours in each geographic region of the county, one north, central, and south. We transitioned, we also started a comprehensive systems assessment to align with our strategic goals, and we're still ongoing with that, but a lot was accomplished in that assessment. We transitioned our community software, our board software to community with the assistance and leadership of Tammy Jeffries and Autumn Alejandrez. So thank you to both for doing that. And we have a new board platform for both our trustees and our foundation board that we think is a better platform and is more engaging and does the things that we want. In terms of strategic partnerships and fundraising, again, our foundation has been critical in being able to partner with us to support our staff, support our core programs, and to be able to support our capital projects. And our foundation has thrived in that regard. It had several goals, and all of them were met, one of which was to launch Free Will, that I'm really excited about, to be able to expand this idea of, obviously, philanthropic support is important, but also it's more than that. It's also, everything we do should have a focus of making our community better. So even when we're raising money, it's not about we're raising money for you to help make the library better. It's all about, like, how you can make yourselves, your families better. This whole idea about, having a living will, having a trust, and that sort of thing. Being able to impart education to our community is really important along those lines, and that's an area that Wendy and her team has lived in for years as their roles. And so I'm really happy that we're able to get Free Will off the ground, and we hope to have more programs in 2025. And then, lastly, we were involved as a leadership team to develop a ballot proposition. We have been, for the better part of a year, really talking about where the library is financially, where the library needs to go to be successful and solvent for the next 10 years. And so this team dug in for the better part of 12, 13 months to be able to figure out what the inflection points around it were. How can we continue to leverage the good people we have and to continue to make the library a better place for people to work in, and to be able to contribute to this county. And so I think we have a really solid plan that we'll be unveiling to the board here in a couple months. And we're excited about what the future holds, although we've got a bit of waiting to do until August. We've got a number of pieces of work to do from now until then. And Gina, you mentioned that the 80th year anniversary is upon us. It's a time for celebration. So both this year we'll be celebrating and we'll be planning for the library's future. So we're good at throwing parties and we're good at working. And so we'll be doing both and we'll be excited about that. A couple of other things to mention. I wanted to lift up our staff who've been recognized in the fourth quarter for their accomplishments. Another thing we did is to rebrand and our staff recognition program. So I want to give a big shouts out to our communications and marketing and HR teams for really partnering up to make sure that we've got a rebranded recognition program. Lucretia's put in a lot of work in terms of making sure that aligns to our strategic plan, and Jeannie and her team have done a lot to put a lot of good swag around it and a lot of good visuals around it. And so we were able to successfully launch that and align the winners of that to really our strategic plan, and so to our values. So proud of the outstanding contributions of Michelle Will, Caitlin Moon, Jeannie Desnoyer, Ayanna Jones, and others who were nominated for and won. These are the winners, and then we had a bunch of other people who were nominated. So I'm really grateful that we are recognizing staff for their contributions around our values. So lastly, I think strategic recommendations or strategic missives that we really want to look at in 2025. And these are the things we will be doing for sure. And this comes from a lot of the data that we have out of last year. We really want to expand our digital collections to meet the demand of the public. Branch program is already phenomenal, and continuing to do that work is going to be important. My recommendation is always to, when you ask Aaliyah what she needs, that's an important question, because to be able to have our staff continue to do the good work they do, and that is really calls out how important our library is and really underscores the fact that we need a library here in Kitsap, and that's all about the ballot measure. We want, can you imagine a county without baby band? No, I can't. And can you imagine a county without having this time of year tax help free in libraries? I couldn't. Having seniors to be able to come to a library. So imagine a world where libraries don't exist. And that's the exercise I would invite everybody to take part in and to realize how scary that is. And now, while we're not in any danger today or this year at losing a library, we've done a lot of good work in planning out what that could look like if our finances aren't stabilized. And so imagine a library that, doesn't have an opportunity to really showcase some of the best books that are published every year, and to have that happen at the end of the year and to give a roundup of best books. Imagine a library system that, or not having a library system here and not being able to do that, especially for people who are under-resourced. You can't go to, the bookstore and buy books every time you want them, because guess what? You can't borrow books from the bookstore. You have to buy them. And so having a vibrant library in Kitsap County is really going to be important for all of us. So, in closing, our door counts were up, and I'm happy about that. Total circulation grew by 5%, with digital downloads, again, increasing by 21% last year. Printing services rose by 28%. Reflects that that's a real value in terms of people wanting and needing to have, these resources in our library. One area that is on the decline is new registrations, which are down significantly, and there could be several reasons for that. One of the things I do know that, again, the nature of our libraries and how people use them have changed over time. I mean, lots of people are reading digital books. That could be a factor. Some people are relying on their information just digitally through, just doing various searches, right? And so a lot of times people need, more of the time they need internet access, versus actually having a card. And or if they're able to just come in and get a guest pass, that might suffice for now until they actually need a more permanent resource where they would need a library card. But there are lots of reasons why that could be happening. I won't dig into what they are. The stats are there, and there are various reasons, but I think we could make concerted efforts to increase that. One of the things that we are talking about, especially with the possible lift, is how we could expand our mobile services program to help to meet the needs in the community, especially in communities where people don't readily have access to libraries. So that'll be important to take a look at that and how we can, and I know our teams already do this when we're out at fairs. We're already trying to get people to sign up for library cards. We have resources out to educate people about what it takes to get a card. And we have had some purging as well through the years where that's another factor when we purge data and folks come off. We just talked about it in the finance committee meeting. What happens when we're purging some of these records is from inactivity. So a lot of times you have registrations. While these are new registrations, we may not have the same level of folks. As we lose people, you may not have the same numbers of people come in and get new registrations after that. And also, it's just, it's the way things go sometimes. But I think overall, statistics show that our libraries are back, and I think better than ever, and that people are in them, and they're using them for all sorts of things. And you'd be surprised at some of the things you see happening in our libraries on a day-to-day basis. And so at the end of the day, I think Kitsap Regional Library is really strong. We're looking to continue to sustain a momentum, keep our partnerships going, and to have a good party in May that we hope you're all present for. And just want to thank you again for your partnership. That's all. Any questions?
No, but thank you, Jason, and I appreciated the summary. This report seemed to be like a glimpse of the whole year, so I appreciated the look back. I feel like, doing a look back always helps you aim forward to where you're going next, so thank you for that. And Eric or Marmon, do you have any questions? No. Great, and thank you again, ladies. All right, I guess we're moving on to new business, and I know that in one of these resolutions, the capital budget, we're looking at money for the 80th anniversary celebration. So I'll turn it over to you, Dan, to talk about that.
Thank you. There is some money set aside for the 80th anniversary. Most of these projects that we're putting forth are funding investments in our infrastructure, and that's for our buildings, and it's for our equipment, whether it's IT or computers. It's for our furniture. as well as augmenting our materials budget with $100,000 for digital resources. And Jason already spoke to the importance of that in our collection. So if there are any other, I'll take any questions if anybody has any questions on the list.
Eric, no? Oh, okay. You looked like you were going to ask a question. No, we've been talking about the maintenance and the computer replacement. I know some of this comes up in our strategic planning, so I feel like I'm pretty well briefed. Am I correct in that you're looking for a motion for this resolution?
Yes, please.
Okay. Resolution 2025/01. Eric, so moved. And do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. And then it looks like we are moving on to Resolution 25/02. I don't know if somebody wants to talk about this one.
Unless Jason has an intro, I think I'll just go ahead and jump in on this one.
I don't.
Okay, perfect. Well, good evening, board members. Item number 9.02 this evening is a resolution to authorize Kitsap Regional Library to cancel $31,847.22 in uncollected fees from a total of 520 inactive patron accounts. This is an annual cycle that we go through. Normally you would, in the past, should say, you've seen this come up in December when we try and do this towards the end of the year. What I suggested to Jason as 2024 came to a close, what the numbers that we presented in this report annually were always sort of a moving target because the year hadn't concluded yet. It was brought to the last meeting of the year, but the year wasn't concluded. And so by the time we actually carried out the action that was approved by the board, those numbers had changed slightly. So I suggested that we bring this to the board in January and then can look at the total of the previous year and give you the actual numbers. But what we do is we look back through our ILS system and take an accumulated total of all the patrons who have been completely inactive, no activity on that patron ID for 7 years, for the past 7 years. And those accounts we then seek to cancel out of the system to kind of true up the database and clean it up a little bit. Associated with those 520 accounts that come up on the search this year is this total number of fees that are owed by these accounts. In the past, this has been called writing off bad debt. As Dan has clarified several times, we don't actually carry this debt. The library is operating on a cash basis. So we've really more appropriately termed this canceling uncollectible fees because these are patrons that we just have, we are confident that there's going to be no contact with them. They have made no effort to be part of the library use or services for the last 7 years. And these are fees that we're not going to be able to collect from them, even if they were previously in a collection service environment, which we last year took the step to no longer utilize. So that brings us to the amount of 520 patrons, 31,847 and 20.22 of uncollected fees. If there's any questions, I can answer that, but this is what has become fairly routine for us.
I wasn't a part of the decision process when the library stopped collecting fees, but I imagine it cost more to try to collect said fees than actually they're worth, so.
You are correct.
Okay, thanks. Anyway, does any of the board members have any questions? Okay, then we're looking for a motion to approve Resolution 2025/02 to, sorry, there's something popped up on my screen there, to cancel $31,847 in uncollectible fees.
I so move.
A second.
Motion has been made and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Thanks, Mike. All right, we're on to housekeeping. The next meeting is February 25th, 2025. We'll have the strategic planning at 4:30 and the Board of Trustees at 5:30. And then you can visit our webpage for other dates to remember. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.